The very first question that I ask any patient who presents in my office saying that they have ADHD is, did you used to sprain your ankles a lot as a kid? The next question is, are you covered with mystery bruises, or did you used to be all the time? I don't remember banging myself into anything, and yet here's a bruise, here's a bruise, here's a bruise. The third thing that I will ask them is about their digestive systems. Do they tend to have bad gut health? Do they tend to get upset stomach really easily, or have a lot of food sensitivities, or just gassy bloating? And then the last thing that I'll ask is, do you have a history of skin conditions, whether it's seborrheic dermatitis or dandruff, or rosacea, or eczema, or psoriasis, or cystic acne in your history, especially at puberty, worse than average acne. And the reason I ask all of these questions is because all four of those things, from sprained ankles and loose ligaments, to mystery bruises, to digestive system disorders and skin conditions, are all highly associated with ADHD neurotypes. So why, and what can we do about it? So the why is complicated, and I don't have all of the answers, but my best guess has to do with the fact that when we see one variation, developmental variation in a person, whether that's they have an extra rib, which is not uncommon, or they have 6 lumbar vertebrae instead of typical 5, that's actually predictive of seeing additional variations. Variation is the norm, and if you have one congenital, I hesitate to use the word abnormality, which is why I'm using variation, but the literature will also say abnormality. But if you have a variant, you probably have more than one. So if you have neurological variation, or neurological diversity or divergence, the likelihood that you have corporal, body-based variation, diversity, and divergence probably goes up. We see that a lot with this loose connective tissue disorder that comes up often with neurodivergent people. So what can we do about it? Well, in part, if you have congenital variations, we're not going to change how you were born or how your genes work. But what we can do is figure out how to manage how your body works based on how you came into the world. One of my best recommendations is, in general, be cautious and mindful of overstretching. People with ADHD often have a lot of energy in their bodies, and one of the ways that can show up is really vigorous, intense, all the time stretching that can actually overtax your already loose ligaments and joints. Part of the reason you feel like you need to stretch is your muscles are tight, but the problem is your joints aren't tight, and so the muscles tighten in response to stretching the joints more. If you want more about this, stick around for part 2.